Hey, this is Will from New Sets Foundation, and I want to provide clarity on a particular subject. Now, I remember when I was a kid, my mom had boundaries for me. My mom had rules for the house for me. My mom had rules when we go out. My mom had rules that we need to follow when we were with other people. Also, when I was growing up, that we had this thing, I don't know if it was just universal, but I felt like it was universal, that when my mom would send me over with someone else, that it was one of those things that they had the opportunity to, no matter what, if I stepped out of line, they will have the opportunity to put me back in line. That can either come in spanking, it can either come in getting jacked up, or however it was. It was one of those things that they can be able to have access to do that at any time, any moment, because it was one of those things where they said, hey, you are my child now. You're not with your mom, you're not with your family, you're my child. But it had to come from a respectable party. It wasn't just everybody that my mom was given access to as far as spanking or anything like that. It was more of, there was a respect for the other individual. So the thing that I want to talk to today about is just giving you a little more clarity on what I mean when I say boundaries are good, rules are good, and the expectations are good. But in order to do that, and where this came from also was, I was just doing an assessment yesterday, and the thing that came out of the assessment was the kid don't like rules. The kid don't like anything that has structure to it. So I was like, man, how can I be able to give the parent tools in their tool bag to be able to help them be able to navigate this thing, even if the child is adopted, not adopted, it's actually yours or however it is. I wanted to make sure that I give tools in this kind of period in their lives right now. So the thing that I thought of, and the thing that I want to express to the parent that I will also be given today is, your child has to have boundaries, but if your child is not used to boundaries and they come from a home that doesn't have boundaries, then we need to have the expectation clear. Hey, these are the things that I expect of you to do. These are the things that I need for you to do. These are things that I need you to follow. It can be an XYZ thing. It can be one of those things when you have your expectations clear and set. They understand that no matter what, this was an expectation before anybody came over. This was an expectation before anything that we did. This was also an expectation before I even went to school. When I came home, this is an expectation. So rules are not rules. It's just an expectation that we want you to follow this particular structure. So don't say this is the rule that we have for our home. This is the standard. Not standard. This is the structure that I want you to follow. Say this is the expectation. This is the same thing, expectation, standard, rules, standard, structure, however it is still the same. It is still the same no matter how you want to word it. It is still the same. But what you're doing right now with your child is that you want to make sure that you have a clear expectations of what you want them to do. So your child is 14, 12, 13, and beyond that, 14, what I want you to understand is that you need to have structure built in so they already know what to do, what not to do. Now, there's wiggle room, but there's a wiggle room based off what you decide wiggle room is. So when they have friends come over, when they have family members come over, what is the expectation that you have for them, and what is the non-negotiables, and what are the things that you want them to do, where you place responsibility in their hands, where you give them the opportunity to showcase that they can have more responsibility or more boundaries. Because the thing that I want you to understand also too is that when you give a kid a boundary, or when you give a kid a standard, you're letting them know, hey, here's what I want you to do when this child or when this kid come over, or when this person come over. Here's what your role is. So it's like a team building, like a team thing, instead of just here's what I want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're including them in what you're looking for them to do. So where it takes most of it from you and it gives them more responsibility, where they feel like they're getting more out of this than anything. So Another thing is that if you have expectations, standards, rules, however you want to word it, make sure that they are clear. There's clear by any means. It's clear and it's set. Here's what I want you to do. Here's how I want you to do it. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's what I want you to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how it's going to be done. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I want you to provide clarity on, is that it will also provide behavior reducing, where you know that when they in the house or when they're doing a particular thing, their behavior is still going to have the same outcome. You see what I'm saying? So no matter what, it's going to be the same, no matter where they are. So I want you to know today is that the clarity is based off how you provide them with the instructions.